This is a civil defense message for Saturday, May 26 at 6:30 in the morning. The Hawaiian Volcano Observatory reports lava flow activity in the East Rift zone of Kilauea. The flow in Leilani Estates has slowed its advance and is 150 yards from Poho'iki Road. The flows to the south continue to enter the ocean near Mackenzie State Park. There were 2 minor steam explosions at the Kilauea summit over the night. There is no immediate threat to Puna geothermal venture. Due to the changing conditions, the following policies are in effect. Take action to limit further exposure and be prepared to leave the area with little to no notice if necessary. Ash fallout may cause poor driving conditions. Drive with extreme caution or pull over and park. Stay alert for warnings from civil defense officials. To help our residents, we are distributing free masks for ash protection. Distribution is today from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Cooper Center, Hawaiian Ocean View Community Center, Pahala Gym Annex, and Na'alehu Nutrition Center. Each person may receive up to 3 masks. Masks do not protect against gases and vapors. They will only provide filtering for ash. We are on watch 24 hours a day for your safety. This is your Hawaii County Civil Defense Agency.
This is a CH-53E Super Stallion helicopter, and it's a Marine Corps helicopter that's designed for moving passengers and cargo in combat. And we're here now essentially to help use that capacity to help our Hawaiian friends in their time of need and conduct mass evacuation if needed. We got here on Tuesday, and then we assumed the tasking yesterday on Thursday. There's an entire Title 32 or National Guard structure under a dual status commander, and we're on the active component of that, and specifically the aviation component even underneath the active component. So so we're working very closely with locals here, Hawaiian, National Guard members. It's 43 passengers plus a 4-man crew.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've actually increased the capacity. These are configured solely for passenger carrying. So to maximize the lift that we can do. The evacuation zones are specifically designed to be away from the lava flow, so south of the actual East Rift area, and then in an area that is hopefully safe enough that people can get to it. The isolation is the key, and from my understanding, the air quality is a big concern for the public. That we're worried that the hydrogen sulfide and the other toxic industrial chemicals that could be in the air might cause people to have to get to these zones and have us get them out. Keep in mind that our crews are trained, and these helicopters are designed to go into extremely austere, unprepared zones, right? So we're trained to kind of look at a map, get a general feel for where we'd like to land, and then go out, take a look at those zones, and then decide on those zones. So we actually had a lot of help from our Army partners on that. They were here months in advance of us, watching out for us and doing some of that pre-planning for us. So been really happy to have some of that pre-planning. We're deferring to the leadership of the JTF 50, but from my understanding, the biggest triggers here are the air quality, the lava flow itself. Essentially, as residents know, moves very slowly, but the air quality is a big concern that the levels reach dangerous levels, especially for the elderly and the young, and that the lava may isolate areas where then it's difficult or impossible to evacuate. We are currently scheduled to be here until Monday. It's our last day of support, but the extensions and the time is in work right now to keep us here longer if needed.
We're still operational as far as working out of PGV, working the shelters, having our fire and military personnel and police out there on the checkpoints, working search and rescue incidents, and just working on the EOC planning and so forth. I'll just give you guys an update as to what we got here. So last night we had a pretty good, it was a big rush of lava broke through, it looks like through a perch pond, and subsequently it took out approximately 10 houses at this point, probably might be more, but so it brings us a total of 82 structures, which is 41 homes. Right now in the shelters, we've got a total of 246 people, which breaks down to 189 in Pahoa, and 43 in Kiao, and 14 which are in the Sure Foundation Church. Helco is doing some work as far as preparing the infrastructure in case there's breakdowns. So they're rerouting, as we speak actually, they're reconfiguring their power setup so that there's going to be might be a short outage in that area. And what it'll enable is if that their line that goes down 132, if that's taken out, instead of losing power to all of Lower Puna, it will just keep it, the power outage will be limited to the Lower Puna area of Waikapo vacation land along the corridor of 132. Planning on meetings starting tomorrow night, 5 o'clock at the Pahoa High School gym. Just a community update, see what their needs are and answer their questions. And then Wednesday night at 5:30 at the Pahala Ka'u
High school.
at the Ka'u High School, which is in Pahala.
Right.
5:30 for a briefing for them. They're dealing with a lot of fog and ash. I was out in Ka'u yesterday, and they're having heavy fog all the way out to the Ocean View area, so they need to have that discussion again. So I think pretty much that's it for us the last 24 hours. And if you guys got any questions.
Can you speak a little more to the flow that took out these homes? Was it a significant event? Was it the collapse of one of the ponds that sent lava flowing? What was the result of so many homes being taken so quickly?
Well, throughout the day, lava was coming out of, I think it was Fisher 7, and kind of just accumulating in an area, ponding, and then what it was creating was a perch pond. And then sometime in the night, probably just after 7, I think, the pond broke, and that flow of lava started making its way down the streets in Leilani. And so both fire, public works, police, all, the area was defined. They went door to door to get the people out, or to warn them, basically. And kind of disturbingly, some people just refused to leave. And so, it kind of gives us terrifying insight into what's going on out there. We had one gentleman that had to be kind of rescued. His only way out was through his back door and through the forest. So, people are, we tell them they need to be prepared. If they're going to go to that extent, they need to know their escape routes. In this case, the lava's moving fast, and it could come again. So these people, Leilani residents and the surrounding areas that are putting themselves in this situation, they need to be very prepared.
How imminent is the threat to 132 and Helco's transmission facilities that you were speaking about?
Last report is that one flow has ceased, and Dr. Jim Kowaikawa can also, give you the update on that one.
Can you give us an update about the PGD, the one well that was overcome last night, holding, any problems with that, and what is the distance to the next well that may fall victim to the lava?
Well, there's several wells within that same pad. So two of the wells were taken or covered. Pretty much that's it. Nothing to report on those. So as far as feet-wise, they're adjacent to each other, separated by a short distance. But the flow kind of stopped again on that one.
So as far as you know, the latch is held, no gas is released, everything is as good as you could have hoped it would be?
That's what it looks like. The work's being accomplished, and it's holding. So we're very happy that it went that way. We were ready as far as our monitoring system to make sure if any gases were leaked out, we picked them up. But I know Tom Travis, that task force that he's running, and PGV, they're working hard to make sure everything stays stabilized.
Is there any plan or work ongoing to quench more wells?
I think they're out there working. Well, the quenching's done. They're just working on one single well today, and Mr. Travis took out of here pretty early this morning, so I think they wanted to get on that one.
So they're working on quenching a fourth production well?
I believe it's a production well, and I'm not sure if it's quenching or plugging, but they're working on it. Yeah.
What was the county's decision to open up Pohiki Beach for surfers?
Well, we try to maintain some, semblance of normal life, and Poiki's a pretty special place down along that coastline, especially for those that remember Kalapana and losing Kalapana and Kaimu and Barry K. Brown. And so, the mayor understands the people's connection to those areas, and so he decided to have it opened up for day use only, where the surfers, the swimmers, the families can go down there.
So it's only the local residents can use that beach. No one else can use the beach, or is it open to the general public?
You can go and get your placard to access it.
Anyone can.
Anyone can. We're trying to keep it mainly to the residents.
For tourism purposes, has there been any discussion to try to open up any type of venue whatsoever so that the tour groups that are suffering can take people up there, so that the cruise lines or whoever else will say, yeah, we can provide some type of an opportunity for you to see something?
Well, one thing that's happening is the tour boats that are going out of Hilo, they're operational, so they can see the ocean entry and whatever flows that you can see from the coast. Right now, to let people in there, tourists not familiar with the area, possibly not being aware of our warning systems, and with the adventurous spirit to get into places. At this point, we feel that it'll be detrimental to our operation. But we thought about it. We were thinking about, what avenues we can get people in there to view the lava. But we got to do it safely, and we got to think about everybody down there.
How big of a challenge was it last night when the perch pond breached? I understand there were quite a few people that were in the area. How big of a challenge was that for the first responders on the ground?
I wasn't in the office at that time, but let's see, when it breached at about 7, they organized right away. And again, fortunately, we had staff observe what was going down, so they reacted quickly and were able to mobilize, pinpoint who was going to take what street, and did the door-to-door. And so it was pretty efficient, pretty quick. The hang-ups, again, were the people that didn't want to leave. And other than that, it would have been a pretty fast operation, but it took till about 10 till things were stabilized.
Can you clarify on Howard's question about opening more areas for tourists? What spots were you talking about? Both of you guys.
I know from my perspective and talking to people on the tourism side, and they weren't talking about letting tourists go on their own. It was more you working with these agencies to, in concert, provide a controlled environment where maybe they can view.
Like into Leilani or some not there, or I don't know.
I have no specifics.
Okay.
Okay.
So just real
told
broadly.
people there have been discussions.
Yeah, so private subdivision, that's kind of out of the question unless the private subdivision wants to take that on. We'd be more the public areas.
Yeah. On PGV, if you can mitigate the damage or the danger on the wells, what is the real concern there from a hazards perspective? Is it the possibility of lava hitting the main structure itself? And if that, I take it it's quite a ways here at this point.
Can you identify yourself
Miguel
first?
with CNN.
Okay. So what's your question again?
It seems that they can mitigate the danger to the wells at PGV. From a hazards perspective, what is your main concern? That if it moves to the main building of PGV, what are the hazards associated with that, and how far is the lava flow from there right now?
Well, it's not so much the main building. It is the wells that have been our concern.
And they can mitigate those quickly enough, either by quenching them or capping them?
Well,
as the lava encroaches?
It's quite a process, I understand. As long as the pressure's down, they can do the work on it. So it's, I guess, quenching them so that the pressure is reduced so they can work on them.
I see. And any injuries to first responders, minor or otherwise?
We've had about 3.
What sort? Burns?
Not burns. Let's see. It's glass flying in one person's eyes. I forget. Those are kind of, they're serious enough, but the people will be okay. We had one serious one where Department of Transportation person was working next to an excavator and it ran over his leg.
So on the job.
Yes.
Is there any count of how many people came out of Leilani in response to the emergency alert last night?
No, we do have a list of everybody that was contacted, all the houses that went to, who were gone to, as far as who left the area. We don't have an accurate account of that, but like I said, we got a list of who was contacted.
How many people were there that first responders found or contacted last night? Or maybe ballpark even?
Probably over 20 houses.
Good people.
That's a wild guess.
So in general, we have approximately 400 customers without power, primarily in the Leilani Estates and Lanipuna Gardens area. We are not proceeding with any repairs or power restoration in those areas right now. In fact, the last time I reported, our strategy was to go in and try and shore up and strengthen some of the poles and clear some of the down poles off the roadways. We are no longer doing that. When we were in the process of trying to do that, we had fissures become active again. We had emissions from some fissures, and our crews had to be evacuated quickly. So our strategy now is to keep them out of the area and keep them safe. Our primary mission is to keep you safe, but also to keep our personnel safe. So we're not responding in those areas. As far as the total power system, we have adequate generation. Every other day we get news saying we're running short, we're going into rolling blackouts. That's not true. Again, that is not true. Even without PGV, we have enough generation to supply all of our customers. The margins are less, but we still have enough, and we're managing our maintenance of our other power generators to make sure that we have enough on an ongoing basis. If the situation changes, we will let you know. We will send out a press release letting you know that the situation has changed. Going forward, we are going to restrict some of the response of our personnel until we can get further definition on the situation, primarily in the Kalaplana area. We have large vehicles that have to cross the state highway, so we want to minimize the crossing. And also, we need to ensure that there's an evacuation plan for employees. So we're going to be a little more restrictive. We're not going to do plant maintenance in those areas. We're going to respond if there's a down conductor or some kind of emergency, but it's going to be restricted. And we're going to try and primarily do it during daytime hours. As far as the ash can cause problems on our power system. What happens with the ash is it can coat our insulators with conductive materials so that the insulator can then have a short circuit. So we're monitoring all of the facilities around the summit area and all the way down to Ka'u. So far, no impact. There hasn't been enough ash deposits to cause a problem in our power system, but we continue to inspect those areas to make sure that it doesn't become a problem. To remedy that, we would need to wash off the ash deposits. And in order to do that, we may take some planned power interruptions in order to do that. What we want to make sure is that we'll do planned interruptions so that we don't have long, extended, unplanned power interruptions. So if we need to do that, if we need to do planned maintenance to wash off the insulators, we will let you know. We'll send out press releases. We have moved our community center to county council offices here in Pahoa. We're going to be there on Thursdays from 9:30 to 3 p.m. We're also right here. You can go to the site if you have any questions for us. Although we're not doing any power restoration, we are taking information from customers to know where they are, to know what the state of their dwelling is, or their facility, so that when activity subsides, then we'll be prepared to restore your power. So we'll be right over there taking information. Thank you.
Give it to the next person who needs it. It's got some good content. I don't know, whatever it's worth.
808.
Did it calculate everything?
It's there.
Oh, good, good. Oh, good.
Well, it's okay right now. You know, I've been on the south side, and that's the baddest side.
What's that like right now?
Oh, just everything is just brown, dead. Yeah,
From the
real
air.
bad. From the air.
Yeah.
And the ground. Yeah. Advise nobody to go in that section anyway, unless you have a house in there. But you gotta go in with a 4-wheel drive. You know, it's all volunteer work, yeah. Yeah, but I kept this neighborhood watch thing going because I was one of the founders for it. When it first started off, it was really bad. They said there were like close to 30 people coming in here looting, and they caught maybe 1 or 2. Right now it's kind of cool down, you know. Just stay safe if you're out and about here, yeah, especially. I know everybody wants to get in here to look at the activity going on, which is normal, but just gotta be aware and alert as you go around in Leilani.
This is a civil defense message for Sunday, May 27th at 7:45 in the evening. Leilani Estates residents on Nohea Street and Luana Street between Leilani Avenue and Kahukai, and on Kupono Street between Malama Street and Leilani Avenue need to evacuate immediately due to a fast-moving lava flow from Fissure 7. Again, Leilani Estates residents on Nohea Street and Luana Street between Leilani Avenue and Kahukai, and on Kupono Street between Malama Street and Leilani Avenue need to evacuate immediately due to a fast-moving lava flow from Fissure 7. Shelters are open at the Pahoa Community Center, Kayal Community Center, and the Sure Foundation Church. Shelters are pet-friendly. Thank you for listening. This is your Hawaii County Civil Defense.